Hello, my name is Tara Springett. I'm a Buddhist teacher and psychotherapist, and I have specialized in helping people with Kundalini Syndrome. Today I would like to talk about the fear that some people feel when they feel energy moving in their body. So this energy that we feel in our body can be felt as heat, or as some sort of crawling energy, or some sort of snake going up and down in us, or some whirling feeling in our abdomen like a washing machine going round and round. It can be tingling, it can be ticklish, it can be like ants crawling under your skin, and it can also be very, very hot. And a lot of people, of my clients, they say to me, is this normal? And particularly they say, will this harm my body? So I hear this fear over and over again. Now, after working with hundreds, literally hundreds of people with Kundalini Syndrome, I can assure everybody that I've not yet seen anybody ever harmed by this Kundalini energy. I understand and I know that there are lots and lots of horror stories on the internet that say you can burn up from inside, you can explode, you can do this and that and the other. Now, I have worked with hundreds of people, and I can say from my experience that these stories are not true. I usually send all my clients who have real physical pain, I send them to the doctor. They get all sorts of scans, they get checked out up and down and through, and usually they all come back with a clear sheet and they say everything is in order, nothing physically is wrong with me. Now, I have to say that I also had very few, maybe 3 clients in the 7 years that I work with Kundalini clients who came back and said, actually the doctor found I have a proper disease of some description or other. Now, for that reason it is important to always go to the doctor and get checked out, because maybe what you feel is not Kundalini symptoms but a proper disease, and it just feels like Kundalini symptoms. So it very, very rarely happened, and we need to understand that these diseases, they can coexist with the Kundalini. But the Kundalini symptoms, the energy that we feel in our body, is no more dangerous or harmful than maybe sexual energy that we started to feel since we went through puberty. Now just imagine nobody had prepared us for puberty, we had no idea what would happen, and then we would find ourselves in these very strong sexual feelings, which can be also felt very strongly in our physical body. We might also think we have some sort of disease, or it will burn up our body or something similar. What also can happen is women in menopause who get hot flushes, we know for sure that these are harmless, but when you actually get these hot flushes, they can feel extremely disconcerting, and as many women can tell you who went through this, it can really literally feel as if you're burning up from inside. But none of that is happening in reality. This is just a feeling. And so I want to reassure people who have these fears that these fears are unfounded. So, for example, I've quite often heard people saying, my nerve ends will burn up, they will be damaged beyond repair. Now this isn't true. I've sent these people who had these fears to the doctor. There was never anything found at first, and secondly, after working only a few days with the methods that I've given people, all these symptoms anyway disappeared, never to be seen again. So so that is the message of this video, that that the energy that is cursing in our body during the Kundalini process, that it can be very uncomfortable, it can be at times painful, it can be very frightening, but it is not dangerous at all in any form or shape. What these feelings or sensations of the energy represents are our own amplified emotions and inner conflicts that we have not learned to recognize as such. You know, when I say to my clients, you know, what you feel inside, these are your inner emotions, you don't recognize it, they look at me and they say, that is just very surprising, they didn't see that coming. But invariably, when I guide them to really look at these symptoms from this different perspective and say, you know, look at it and see what kind of emotions could that be, they can tell. And once you can pinpoint the emotion and you can pinpoint where it comes from, maybe you had some sort of trauma or some separation from a husband or something or the other, you can then see that there is psychological meaning behind these symptoms, and then the whole process becomes quite manageable, because you can then actually work with these conflicts that you've uncovered and get rid of them, resolve them. And you know, other frightening ideas that I've heard is that people feel that might be going mad, that a devil is influencing them, that they might explode from all this energy. Nothing of that is true. As I said before, these symptomatic can be uncomfortable, but it is not dangerous at all. I had one client, or one woman I knew, you know, she had this fear that she would die, and she felt there's some sort of opening in her crown chakra, and if she would go to sleep, she would die. She was absolutely convinced of that. So she kept herself awake for weeks at a time, which is a sort of form of madness in itself. But that aside, you know, as she didn't get any sleep, she started to hallucinate because she couldn't dream and so forth. Eventually she had to go to a psychiatric ward, and they gave her some sleeping pills. Within 1 or 2 days she was normal again. Of course she didn't die, why she had this forced sleep. And so this is just a very extreme example of somebody who completely misinterprets these phenomena, and that's very, very important to understand. It's our misinterpretation of Kundalini symptoms that lead to the problems, not the symptoms in itself. They are actually quite harmless. And so the solution to all of this is that you need to get informed about the Kundalini. Maybe you watch more of my YouTube videos or you read my book. Don't watch you know, those horror videos where people tell you that you can burn up from inside, or other kind of horror stories which abound on the internet. This is all not true. And then reduce the fear that you have through the anti-anxiety technique that I describe in my book, or also in one of my videos. You can look that up, and then you are in a much better position than you were before. Okay, I hope this video was helpful, and if you liked it, please give me a thumb up, or leave me a comment. I like that. Subscribe to my channel, buy my book, it's in this link down here, and thank you for listening. Bye bye.